Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of r/slash entitled parents. In today's episode, I get yelled at for giving a customer what they wanted. Karen tried to tell police I'm innocent when I'm trying to admit fault. EM thinks she knows better than a team of psychiatrists and rejects child's diagnosis. Before we get started, make sure to subscribe so you will never miss a video. So let's get started. I get yelled at for giving a customer what they wanted. So either the story is going to get buried or removed for maybe not fitting the sub, but I didn't know where else this would fit. If the formatting is bad, it's because I'm on mobile. Also, it's more of an entitled grandmother than anything. To start off, I work in an Orange Julius at a local mall for about 4 years and always had good customer experience besides one other girl in this family. The family consisted of a grandmother, GM, mother, M, a child that looks about 3 to 4 years old, and the aunt of the child, A. The mother came to buy a drink and was figuring out what she wanted before saying she would like a mango pineapple. I asked her twice if she was sure of MP and took the order. She paid with card and I asked if she wanted a receipt and she said no, so I took the copy the store needed for the deposit and didn't print the customer copy and got to work on her order. I gave it to her and moved on with my day. About 5 minutes later, the grandmother comes over and then asks the following question, to the best of my understanding since she spoke really fast. Quick note: smoothies in Julius are made different and have different pricings, and as the conversation goes on, GM gets more and more aggressive. GM, why did you give us mango instead of an Orange Julius? Me, that's what was ordered, a medium mango pineapple. GM, but the baby is allergic to it. Me, I'm sorry, but I just made what was ordered. GM, can you just remake it? Me, I can't since dash. GM, what's the difference? Me, explains the difference. GM, so why can't you remake it? Me, because the pricing is different. If it was the same drink type, I would have no issue making it, but since it's a different type, I would need to charge you for the new drink. The aunt shows up at this point, with a clearly 1/4 drunk drink, and actually tries to help me explain to the GM. GM, I can't believe this, where is your manager? Me, I'm sorry, but I'm the only one on for the rest of the night. GM, that's a lie, I saw a fat man, my boss who left for the day, back there before, go get him. Me, I can't, he left. GM, I'll just wait here all day then, cause this ain't right. Some people come up and she says take their order, so I did. She then left and came back with everyone in tow. And restarts the conversation of why I can't remake the order without charging. When I get to the point of saying that they don't have a receipt, the mom finally jumps in. M, you never gave me one. GM, how can we get a refund when you didn't give her a receipt? Me, sad face, a little annoyed at this point. I asked if she wanted one and she said no. I also asked if she was sure about mango pineapple twice and she said yes. You don't have proof of purchase on you. We have the store copy like I said, but we need pop on their end for a refund. I made the drink as requested, and it's a completely different price. So I'm sorry, but unless you pay for a new drink, I can't do anything. They once again left, and a minute or so later the aunt and GM are back, but again we explain it slowly to her why I can't just make a new drink unless they pay for it and throw away the one they currently have. If they wanted the same drink type, I would have just done it because the price would have been the same. As long as they tossed the first drink, I would have helped. Or if the mother remembered her baby was allergic at any point before the handoff, I would have stopped what I was doing, dumped the drink, and changed the flavor with no issue. Karen tried to tell police I'm innocent when I'm trying to admit fault. Title sounds weird, I know. So this is another story about the entitled mother I talked about in the Whole Food story. Yes, there's another story, of course. Also sorry, this one might be a long one, so I'll try to keep it simple if I can. Cast, me /entitled mother will now just refer to as Karen K/condescending police officer CP/CP's partner P2. So, long event short, I was trying to back up and leave K's apartment parking lot in my car. This parking lot is very small and claustrophobic, and because the person who parked to my right was extremely close, I couldn't see behind their car well. In turn, my back end hit the left side of a car that was parked in the out lane that connects to the main road, and they were bumper to bumper with the back end of the car next to me. I drive a large SUV, and this car couldn't really be seen from inside my car since it was shorter, but I won't make any more excuses. This was completely my fault, and I knew it. I even planned to take full responsibility in its entirety, but then Kay came outside. Kay, oh my god, OP. You hit their car. Yeah, no F asterisk 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 ing get K. Me, under my breath, S asterisk asterisk asterisk, what should I do? I had gotten out of my car and was looking at the damage. My SUV had a 5-inch dent next to the tail light on its right side, and that was it. But the car I had bumped into was much worse for wear, mirror shattered and driver's side door had a huge dent. I decided to call my husband because I started to have a panic attack when Kay started insisting on calling the cops and told me to not try and go talk to the owner of the car. Me, why shouldn't we go get them dash? Kay, because I don't like them. No joke, this gem of a woman started saying it just like that. She then would continue to spout half-assed reasons why they were bad people, and then the clincher. Kay, my youngest, heard them through the wall having S asterisk asterisk. That's when I knew that this particular reason was technically the only reason why she didn't like them, simply because their love-making had reached the poor innocent ears of her little girl. Anywho, she gets on the phone with the police. Against my better judgment, I had listened to her about not going to go get the owners of the other car. My anxiety was through the roof, so thinking properly wasn't really in consideration. While waiting for the police to arrive, Kay starts screaming at air about how the world hates her, which was unsettling. A police officer arrives a while after and heads right for me when he gets out of his vehicle. Before I could get a word in inchwise, Kay intercepts him. And then proceeds to try and tell him how it wasn't my fault, and how horrible the owners of the car I hit were. This woman. I had no energy to try and stop her, and was still quite dazed from the whole thing. And then she told him about the incident with her youngest hearing them. That's when I made eye contact with the officer to try and telepathically tell him how sorry I was for the way Kay was acting. Fairly certain he didn't get the mental message, and you'll know why in a bit. CP, I'll have to stop you there, proceeds to put a hand up and stop Kay's tyrannical rant about her neighbors. I need to talk to her now since she's the owner of the car, gestures towards me. Ma'am, please come with me to see the scene and damage. At that time I was sitting on the steps of the apartment complex trying to get my insurance company on the phone. I had been trying to get a hold of them long before the officer got there, and I really didn't want to lose my place on the hold line, so I apologized multiple times to the officer while following him about my being on the phone, and that I was trying to get my insurance company on. He sort of acknowledges what I said, but at the same time I could tell he was already fed up with the whole situation thanks to Kay and her nonsense. I proceeded to tell him what had transpired and claimed full responsibility for what happened when Kay goes and butts into the conversation. She gets mad at the officer. Why? Because he interrupted when she was trying to convince him that her dear sweet friend was somehow innocent, when I was literally admitting fault. Again, this woman. Once again I need eyes with the officer, while she starts making a scene, and again I try to telepathically tell him I was deeply sorry about how she was acting, but this was really starting to annoy him. He stops her again, and as she's voicing how she finds him to be acting rude, I kind of nudge into her to try and get her to stop. Which she sort of does. CP, now. I'm going to be speaking with the owners of the other car, and I want both of you to return to the K's apartment now, and to not come back out until I give my say-so. He then points to his body cam and says what's coming up next in a darker tone, sort of sounded like a threat, because it kind of low-key was. CP, and know that all of this is on body cam, and if you do not listen to me on this there will be consequences on which I will take action. Because Kay acted the way she did towards him, he felt it was necessary to make an open-ended threat of arrest towards the both of us thanks to my being her friend and being affiliated with her. Just great. I didn't blame him for it, and honestly if I was him I probably would have done something similar. After that, we went back to the apartment. My husband came by after his work to check on me before going to talk to CP outside, and to see when it would be alright for me to go back home. Then the second officer, the first one's supposed partner, showed up finally. He came to Kay's apartment door, and before he could say anything to me, Kay intercepted him this time and complained to him about his partner's behavior. "Kay, your partner was incredibly rude to me when I was trying to explain things to him." P2, "I see, I apologize, ma'am." So I did the same thing again. Made eye contacted to try and tell him sorry for how she was acting, and he gave me a sort of look of acknowledgement while she continued to rave about his partner. Thank God. So as for the rest, long story short, my husband came back in to tell me that the officer said I could finally leave, and before I left I apologized to the owners of the car over and over again for hitting it because I was truly upset for hitting their car, and they were extremely nice. In fact, they acted nothing like what Kay thought they were going to act like. She treated them as evil people, and they never understood why she acted that. They were nothing but nice to her, and she just deemed them as being bad people. So I started driving home when Kay called me. My husband had stayed behind to talk with the owners of the other car for a short time just to get their side of things and all that, even though they had no idea what had happened until the police officer had them come outside during it all. When Kay called me this time was probably the worst interaction I ever had with her. "Kay, tell your husband to leave right now. And he is never allowed in my apartment again." Me, shocked at this reaction. What? Why? "Kay, he's outside talking with those people. He's not allowed at my place ever again or around my kids." All three of her kids were there that day. Added note, she was cursing while saying all this, but I omitted that. All because he was talking with people she didn't like. She automatically deemed him as a bad person too. I tried to explain to her why he was still over there talking to them, but she wasn't having it and just repeated to tell him to leave before hanging up. Not more than 3 minutes later, my husband had called me asking for more details on how I was backing up when I told him what she had said about asking him to leave and all that. Of course he, being the military man that he is, completely disregarded it, saying that he doesn't have to listen to her, and just handled the situation with those people his way before finally going home after me. This was the event that broke the camel's back, and I was in almost no contact with her ever again. I ended up basically never contacting her myself ever after this. She did contact me a handful of times after that, but I never really went to her place or hung out with her after that all happened. EM thinks she knows better than a team of psychiatrists and rejects child's diagnosis. Unfortunately, the entitled mother in this story is mine, Uneasy Face. Although she has a history of acting this way, I never expected the sh*t that went down in my doctor's office today. I, 17F, have had a history of mental health issues throughout my teen years. However, it was only last year that my parents actually agreed to help me find some support from a therapist. After being evaluated, interviewed and tested, my mother was never happy with the results. So, over the past year I've seen at least 3 different psychiatrists, all giving the same results: personality disorder. But I've never been able to proceed with an official diagnosis because my mother has ideas of her own. According to her very reputable sources, mental health issues are just emotions, they have nothing to do with genetics, and they can all be solved with a whole food plant-based diet. The latest DR appointment was a breaking point for her. Alt-Hog PDs technically can't be diagnosed in a person under 18. My psychiatrist let us know today that she strongly recommends we proceed with treatment as if I have obsessive-compulsive personality disorder. This did not sit well with the EM. She spent an entire hour educating the doctor on how personality disorders don't exist. The session ended with her screaming in anger. It's safe to say the ride home was awkward. My mother mostly just told me again and again about how the diagnosis isn't true and I shouldn't pay any attention to it. Anyways, the minute I turn 18 I'm gonna get my diagnosis independent from my parents. Not long now. Smiley face.